The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world so we can take back control actually, of our health and our
personal freedoms.
choices and our freedoms.
Absolutely.
Especially our health, I'm thinking.
Yeah, what else is there? I mean, if you don't have your health, you don't have
That's
health.
right. And I'm Nico Haan.
And I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater. In fact, it's getting down to about 70 degrees.
We might have to yank out a sweater or two after tonight. And at least then, as you're trying to do your last-minute shopping, you can feel a little more in the spirit. I don't know, this year it's really snuck up on me, But, folks, please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. We spend the time during the week while you're busy trading and enjoying your week. Nico and I go through countless articles and journals and find stuff that we know is news you can really use to stay healthy while you're living
That's
your
for
healthy
sure.
life.
And please pick up some Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. We put a lot of effort into this. And if you want to start the new year off right, feeling really healthy and doing something really good for your body, this is the one-shot wonder that will do it for you. So Primal Edge and also our Health Signals newsletter, and you're pretty much good to go exploring what health is. And that's what we do here every day.
That's what we do. And, one of our things we sent out on Facebook this morning is, are you loving your liver?
Yeah, well, before we do that, we've been doing this show together for a couple of years now. And I think I've been about 5 years on the air.
Absolutely.
And it's always been Happy Friday. And starting the new year, we got a new opportunity here on Living a Primal Lifestyle to go to morning drive. So we're going to go to Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 8 a.m. Big change for us, but I think it'll be really good. I'm excited about it. And I think we're going to pick up some new listeners, and we're going to influence people in the morning right when they wake up. So I think that's really important, and I'm really stoked about it.
Yeah, so some of you guys that are in the chat room and gals, let us know how that works in with your schedule.
Yep.
Hope you'll tune in, and you'll get 2 doses of the Living a Primal Lifestyle.
Yeah, which is what we always wanted. We always wanted an extra hour because we feel we don't have enough time to really explore all the things we're into.
And we're going to have some ways that we can connect you with things that we think are valuable in helping you. Tips, tools, techniques, that's really what we're all about.
Yes.
Offering these things to help people.
That's right.
And that's why I want to get to this loving your liver.
Well, let's get to it right now.
Let's get right to it. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is considered to be the wood element. It's kind of the organ that's responsible for helping us change our food, or the food energy, into chi, or life force, if you would know. So that's a little 5-element theory with you.
Yeah.
And our liver is just so important. People don't realize that not only does it, take responsibility for detoxification. When you mention the word liver, people immediately think of alcohol. The liver does way more than process alcohol, a toxin in the body.
Yeah, they kind of mentioned that it's an ultimate multitasking organ.
It really is. It's interesting, and the liver is actually one organ that can regenerate itself, when it has damage. And, again, in traditional Chinese medicine, they say if you can harmonize the liver, you can treat 100 different diseases. That's kind of old Chinese wisdom. And it's just to let you know how important detoxification and absorption of nutrition. What else is there? That's really what I coach my clients, is that, it's all about digestion and assimilation and absorption and detoxification and elimination. There really isn't much else. It's simple,
Well, one of the things I notice when I take a yoga class or those Eastern-styled exercises, they really talk about the liver a lot. And a lot of these movements that they are meant for detoxification. Your breathing rhythms all aid the liver into doing its job.
helps to put the body into a parasympathetic or healing state versus a sympathetic stress state. And actually, it's interesting that you say that, and Allie would echo this. Many of the postures in yoga are specifically designed to create a little pressure on these organs. We have certain positions that expand the lungs. We have certain positions that contract and put pressure, a little gentle squeeze on our detoxification organs. So, there's ancient wisdom and there's quantum science, and the best is when we combine the best of both worlds.
I feel that's true too. It's the liver that recognizes toxic substances and converts them into harmless material that can be released. And I think that's an important fact. For our blood to flow smoothly and clearly, we need to create a warming and nourishing environment in the body that helps the liver do its best job.
And that's a really great point that you just shared, when you said it helps to identify the compounds and then to perform some chemistry of its own to help make it not so harmful to us. But this is where our system's body works as a system. And with the system effect, if the liver is overwhelmed, and I like to, help, personify this so you can empathize with it, but if the liver is overwhelmed, it says, hey, this is a lot of toxic stuff coming at me. At some point, if the bowel isn't working and it becomes sluggish, the body gets into a situation where it's unable to handle the waste removal process. The liver can't handle it. So what happens? We have reabsorption of toxins that could not properly be detoxified and eliminated, and that's what we call auto-intoxication.
Yeah, and that certainly is a problem in our
which is another word for inflammation.
In our modern food supply, there is a lot of that in there.
I believe that a lot of the so-called diseases that create pain in the body, the fibromyalgias, the polymyalgias, and the arthritis and so forth are directly related to an inability to digest, disinfect, absorb, and detoxify our food, and it becomes a threat or a toxin for the body. What can you expect if you improve your liver function? It's very important to assist that liver in removing the toxic poisons that you get exposed to, because we are no matter how healthy we eat, we are exposed to toxins that many times we don't actually make the choice to be exposed to. Toxic cleansers, toxic pesticides, herbicides, that, you may be living a very conscious life, but, around you, we are exposed to these things. If you take care of your liver, it's going to take care of you, and you're going to enjoy increased energy levels, clearer skin. We'll see better menstruation regularity with women. Less hormonal symptoms, maybe perimenopausal, andropausal, because the liver is where we conjugate those hormones. And if it's backed up with detoxification, it can't do its hormonal balancing.
Right.
A lot of people, if they have a sinus pain, congested passages, mucus, a lot of mucus, that's a sign that the liver is congested and the body's putting up a defense.
Okay, and that makes a lot of sense to me. One of the most important roles of any organ could have, the liver is primarily in charge of regulating our blood supply. It's involved in storing blood, making blood clotting possible, and breaking down damaged blood cells so they can be eliminated. So that's a lot happening in that liver. Imagine an organ that actually sterilizes and takes toxins and makes them inert. I mean, what a beautiful thing. So liver health is probably one of the first steps in cleansing.
It's completely huge. And kind of just wrapping up a little bit with our analogy or tying it into traditional wisdom, as I mentioned in traditional Chinese medicine or five-element theory, the liver is associated with wood chi, wood energy, the word chi meaning energy. And it's characterized by an upward momentum and the innate desire to be straight. So that means that it's a desire to be strong and grounded.
And do its job.
And so what do you think about when you see an upward straight tree? The ability to have straight blood vessels so you get good flow of energy.
Just us standing with good posture, the same thing happens.
And creating an environment where the nutrition, transports healthfully through our body, capillaries, veins, arteries.
Liver is kind of one step in the whole process because the liver works and interacts with other of our organs, like the gallbladder and the stomach and the spleen.
Oh, it's all a systems team approach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one has to, when you're cleansing one thing, you're really cleansing the other thing. Stomach being one of the first things. Really, the saliva is the first thing that interacts with the food, but then the stomach, and then it goes on to the gallbladder, spleen, and finally the liver, I think, is last, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
And so
believe so,
let's just, as we wrap this up, let's give you kind of a couple ideas. People say, well, how do I know if my liver's not happy? Well, the liver, gallbladder have a lot to do with the emotions of anger and frustration.
Mm-hmm.
The liver is associated with anger. If you feel that maybe you've held on to some anger, it's that emotion is going to express itself in dis-ease in the liver. And some of the symptoms that tell you the liver's not happy that you might see is that you're feeling tired. Maybe you've had weight loss, fatigue, loss of appetite, confusion or trouble concentrating, bloating or gas, showing the sign that the liver is just kind of overwhelmed. If you have pain, if you palpate yourself right here at the ends of your rib cage, right here, along here, if you feel tenderness in the liver area, that can be a real sign. Kind of excessive sweating or even dark urine is kind of a warning sign that maybe the liver's being a little overwhelmed.
So what's the first step you would take if somebody that people are having some of these symptoms? What is the best way that we would say, let's cleanse the liver, and what's the start there?
Well, what I like to do is I like to ask people, what are they doing? As I've said, the way that we age, die, and get diseased in this country is we don't digest our food and we don't get enough nutrition.
Right.
So I'm going to ask them, what are they doing for their nutrition? And I'm going to want to get them on something that can help them be compliant and get results.
So you look at their diet first.
Right. Well, obviously diet, yeah. And but as we know, our diet, we can all attempt to have the very best diet. But we're missing key minerals in our soil, no matter how well we eat. So that's one of the reasons that we created the Primal Edge
right there,
with the base of minerals. Because as I come back, it's the minerals that are the catalyst. We can actually make a lot of our vitamins in our body, but we can't get the minerals if they're not in the soil. There's 90 essential nutrients. If we don't have them in the soil, we're stuck. I want them to alleviate the fires in their body. I want them to look for things that can help them with natural anti-inflammatories. Specifically, when we want to clean the liver, I have some little tinctures that I like to use, and I like them to go on a liver cleanse. I use lemon water. That's one of the best things.
Yeah.
The liver loves to start the day with, a very simple thing. If you're a coffee drinker, before you brew your coffee, have a little lemon water and love your liver and give it a little chance to hydrate and detoxify, and that's a
things
great
like
place
apple
to
cider
start.
vinegar help. All these little things that we always mention helps the liver and helps your whole body.
And there's a lot of herbs such as milk thistle and turmeric that are actually very supportive of the liver's processes. So we got lots of tips.
Yeah, we're very excited about changing our format here. Our first show is going to be on the 5th, I believe. That's the Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month. So, please join us then. This is the last show, of the year for us. So we got a couple of weeks break. The number here is 877-927-6648. Please take the time to look at our newsletter. I got a brand new one coming to you right now, and pick up some Primal Edge and you'll be good to go. Paige and I will be back in a couple of minutes. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful holiday season. We are here too. And Nico and I were just talking about why women are smarter than men, or at least an article on LinkedIn.com by Dr. Travis says. And, you know, that I don't mean that there's any real.
I don't have a problem with it at all, because it actually is a great article that it is here. But you know, you remember in indigenous cultures, most of the time the women are the ones that make the final decision as far as wisdom is concerned. Wisdom for the tribe.
Well, the Cherokee Nation, that was the truth.
Iroquois Nation, the Lakota. And many of the New Guinea populations are always asking the woman, you know, because men are kind of crazy. They like to go out and hunt and do all that maniac stuff. And they make really good decisions there and are very stealthy and things like that. But when it comes to taking care of the tribe, they're more interested in doing things that are more violent, taking risks, where women are much more balanced emotionally.
So maybe.
And they're protecting their children, of course.
Yeah, maybe have more of a holistic approach of looking at the whole picture a little bit more.
Well, that's why I thought this article is good, because they base it on, well, the first thing is self-awareness. Self-awareness is how well you understand your own emotions in the moment, as well as how well you understand your tendencies. The people and situations you handle well and those that push your buttons. This is one place where men and women are pretty equal.
Yeah, so just so we know, these points we're going to hit were done by a research group called Talent Smart, and they tested what they call the EQ, or the emotional intelligence, okay, of more than 1 million people, and it's clear that women have the upper hand. I just wanted them to know where we're coming from. And while women's overall score is just a couple points higher, it was statistically significant, and that women have greater skills in using emotions to their benefit. And there you go. Self-awareness was one of the categories. The second one was self-management. That's interesting.
Very interesting. And this is, I think, one where the men actually are better at self-managing themselves.
Okay.
And I believe that's the best explanation for gender differences in emotional intelligence, and it's how we are socialized growing up. Reinforced by the gender pressures that we experience as adults. In the case of self-management, men are often expected to be emotionally strong and in control of their emotions, which may explain why they outscore women slightly. Just a little
because
bit.
they kind of hold, they kind of hold their cards a little bit in that area.
Exactly.
Right. Well, here's one: social awareness. Social awareness is how well you understand the emotions and experiences of other people. I think of that like empathy.
Yes.
And that immediately, I do think that women are more natural creatures of empathy.
Yeah. This is where
we put our feet in other people's shoes more easily than the male species.
Yeah, and it's actually by quite a larger margin. This is one of the real things where women excel in. And this is why they're probably good at planning parties and doing the invites and knowing who to invite, because they are looking at the interaction, where men, if they're going for a party, they're thinking about me, who do I want?
Yes.
And who cares what happens?
Right.
Because we can handle it, that type of thing. That's the way I think about it.
So the next one is relationship management. It's kind of the pinnacle of emotional intelligence. It requires that you use self-awareness, self-management, social awareness in concert to better your relationships as you interact with other people. And women have a slight edge in this area for reasons described in the kind of the social awareness. Again, that empathy of seeing how other people feel.
Yeah, and the advantage, emotional intelligence presents a significant advantage for women in the workplace, which is really interesting. And I think this is right on, because I remember when I was kind of working in corporate America, the women in the offices really were the ones that made everything work.
Yes.
If you had a really good office manager that was a woman, then things really clicked and they kept everything balanced nicely. Whereas a man, it doesn't do it quite as well. So I
I thought this was an interesting thing that they brought in right after this. When we talk about this emotional intelligence, it's a flexible skill that you can improve, and you can improve it with effort. And there are a few things you can do to improve your emotional intelligence. And what are those things? Well, the first one is limit your caffeine intake. Interesting, because we do know that we've talked a little bit about the power of caffeine, and it has some health benefits. And coffee as a polyphenol or an antioxidant carrier. But caffeine is a stimulant, and it can help us with our focus.
There's quite a difference between just taking a shot of espresso and then using it like Tiger Brew, where you put a little bit of fat into it.
So you can slow down the effect.
It slows down the effect and smooths it out, and it really makes it good. The other one is
get some more sleep. I'm all for that. Be rested.
And another one that was really important that I learned when I was in college is stop your negative self-talk in its tracks.
Be careful, what you say. Your cells are listening.
Well, not only that, your cells, your brain really doesn't know the difference between what somebody else is saying and what you're telling yourself.
Exactly. And then the final one is appreciate what you have. Gratitude is the right attitude.
And we have Living a Primal Lifestyle. I got Paige right here, and you got Nico, and it's pretty good. We're starting a new year off right pretty soon.
All right, see you after the break.
Yep.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418 8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit tfnn.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. The number here is 877-927-6648. Please pick up some Primal Edge. Take a look at our newsletters. Get yourself started on the right path in the year 2016.
New year, new
2016.
you. I know, it's amazing.
Thought? You know, you sent me this article this week. Is pharma trying to eliminate homeopathic competition? And you know, homeopathy is the thorn in the side of pharma because of the fact that its unique medicines are FDA regulated, they're safe, they're inexpensive, and more importantly, they cannot be patented.
Yeah,
so
I
they
want to
can't be
remind
controlled.
everyone that before the big pharma came out in the earlier part of this century, the majority of doctors were also naturopathic.
Yes.
This was the medicines.
Yes.
You know, you can see a lot of old pharmacy and you realize you're looking at homeopathy.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, it's been made out to be that it's, some kind of different kind of form of medicine that can't be trusted, and it's just nothing farther than the truth.
Yeah, in fact, what's really happened, folks, is it's more of the drug companies that I feel that really spurred on the doctors to, they the pharmaceutical and drug companies now are really educating the doctors in the way they want to be educated. Not the doctors being educated, but the way the drug companies want to educate the doctors. They want total control.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
So they want them to use the drugs that they're selling.
Are you familiar with the Flexner report?
I don't think so.
Okay. The Flexner report was funded by Rockefellers and so forth, and what they realized is that they had something here. The richest families in the world kind of realized that this petrochemical. Did you hear what I just said? Petrochemical industry could produce drugs, and these drugs could alleviate symptoms. Now, what we know about a drug is it does not fix things. A drug blocks a receptor site and stops enzyme reactions. Those are the two things that drugs do, and that's why when you end up on one drug, you end up usually on 10, because you're blocking receptor sites and blocking enzyme reactions.
Which can cause other problems.
That's why. Well, it's a snowball. It creates a nice annuity.
Exactly.
So they saw what a great business model this would be. So the Flexner report was hired to go to all the medical schools in the country, which, earlier in this century, at the turn of the century, nearly all of the medical schools were naturopathic. They were using homeopathy as their, remedies. So when they came out with this, it's like salesmen, they said, if you would like to have endowments and funding for your university, then you need to be talking these petrochemicals and these chemical substances that we're making that are,
So when you're talking synthetic vitamins, minerals, things like that, comes from the tar sands from
the coal
oils.
tar derivatives, correct. So as a result, where we used to have 500 different naturopathic colleges, universities in this country, we now only have 4 accredited naturopaths. So look at the power of persuasion, the power of bribery, the power of power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, and when you look at the corporations that are talking about this in a favored light for the drug companies and the doctors that are following that line, you'll find they're funded by people like Pepsi-Cola and Coca-Cola, bread companies, all these companies that are making processed food. Which is highly profitable food. When you process a food, it's much more stable, not in the body, but outside the body, which means that it's much financially a big deal for these companies because there's very little spoilage. The nightmare of companies is when you're getting all this good fresh food in, and now what do you do with it after, it's a couple days old and people don't want to buy it anymore?
Yeah.
You kind of have to toss it. So they eliminated that, and when you go to the grocery store and you go through down those middle aisles, and there's tons of those, all those products there are very stable, and they can, 10 months later or 2 years later, you can still go to a grocery store, the same darn thing is there. You don't know if it's new or not. There's a date on it, but a lot of times that doesn't make too much difference, and it's not as good.
Yes, so let me get back to this homeopathic thing. So we, like all natural remedies, and they're constantly having to battle off the powers that be, the power structures, criticisms, and if you tell a lie long enough, people will believe it. So when you have power, you can spend money and time perpetuating lies. And homeopathic supporters are familiar with the standard arguments lodged by anti-homeopathy or anti-natural medicine activists who like to call themselves skeptics. They insist that there's no scientific evidence to support homeopathy, and they repeat this unfounded claim in spite of a growing body of evidence completely to the contrary. And I want to read you something. This is completely not true. There has been years and years of evidence of these natural remedies that act on the principle of like cures like. Allopathy is what we see with traditional medicine. Allopathy is the opposite. Homeopathy is the law of similars, and it's based on the principle of resonance. You all have heard me talk about cell resonant nutrition. The cell knows what it needs to do when it gets its song sang back to it to remind it. So
The
if you are
vibration, yes.
if you are vibrating, sending it a frequency that is similar to what it should be behaving, it's like a software package. If you run a software package to debug something, it's going to run the proper way. So let me just share this with you. Iris Bell, PhD, Stanford University. She's in charge of the integrative medicine program at the University of Arizona College of Medicine, and she had a comment to state, in response to a lot of this unfounded attack on natural medicine and specifically homeopathy. She says that this evidence that these skeptics are sharing relies on a small selection of methodologically flawed, highly criticized meta-analyses of homeopathy, while they ignore specific peer-reviewed, published scientific evidence in a plethora. There's a lot of evidence from multiple independent laboratories that homeopathic medicines are not only biologically active, folks, but that they work on gene expression. And that's one of my passions. Your genes don't control your destiny, your expression of your genes do. You can have the gun pointed at your head, but if the trigger doesn't get pulled, the gene doesn't get expressed. If you pull the trigger, you're expressing the gene. So it positively affects gene expression, positively affects immune modulation, and the biologically signaling effects. So, folks, we've got to start looking at what's kind of behind the scenes at a lot of these attacks. As a person who shares with people empowering information so that people can make good choices, I believe that the best choices are found in nature, and those are delivered to people in convenient forms in the way of whole foods, in the way of self-resonant nutrition, in the way of homeopathic vibrational remedies, and essential oils, which are the phytochemicals or the immune systems of plants. And I believe that we are everything we need in these things. We find everything we need in these things.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I just think people need to be aware of what's going on and this powerful attempt to discredit. Looks like we've got Larry on the phone. Are you out there, Larry?
Yeah, hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Larry.
Hi. I find it interesting you're talking about Abraham Flexner report, and it's a fascinating era in America because right between 1910 when that Flexner report came out, remember in 1913 they created the Federal Reserve and then the IRS, so they controlled your health and your pocketbook during an era when they were claiming to fight antitrust mechanisms.
I get goosebumps. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. We lost our way in those early part of this century, Larry, and that was really great that you pointed that out. Many of the same players, were attendees of that fateful day on Jekyll Island, right? And those were the same players that were behind the creation of the pharmaceutical industry and the basically antitrust. I mean, creating to me, it's as clear as a trust violation as anything you can see. Don't you agree? What happened to these medical schools? I mean,
well, I've never had time. Yeah, what they did was they ensured that they claimed to be fighting all the trusts, all the monopolies, but in fact they were ensuring that they would exist forever. Yeah, it's just unbelievable, our history.
Yeah, it's really interesting to read that, folks. If you Google the Flexner report, you'll find out.
This is why I wanted to call. The site called vonmises.org has an article that's impressive about the Abraham Flexner report. It's called 100 Years of Medical Tyranny.
Ah, a little Austrian economics guy there, right?
Yeah, very good. It'll just straighten out anybody who is skeptical that the doctors aren't working on your behalf.
So what's the name of that again?
100 Years of Medical Tyranny.
Great.
And possibly robbery. I went blank. But it's vonmises.org. It's about a 10-year-old article, and the guy just nails it from the Austrian economics point of view that it was clearly a maneuver to monopolize, to create a cartel.
If you would, Larry, could you send me a link to that so I can include that in the next newsletter?
Yeah, it'll be too awkward. But Abraham Flexner was a hired gun. Specifically, the AMA, the American Medical Association members, were unhappy. They were earning less and getting less respect from the public before 1910. 1910, and like you just said, they, with money and funding, they created a propaganda campaign anchored around this study.
Oh, this is, and you just hit on a really great point there, Larry. Literally, you just said the AMA members, which were mostly the MDs, or the surgeons, actually. See, it was the surgeons. You're exactly. They were not well respected. People were going to the naturopaths. And so they decided they wanted to find a way to empower that section that was doing more, intervention. Remember, there was bloodletting and stuff like that just prior to that. Yeah. But it is a fascinating thing. I'm so glad you shared that. And again, folks, you'll have this link. And I hope you're doing well, Larry. It's always wonderful to have you call in and join our show.
Well, I keep getting better because I do what you guys practice.
Yay, that's wonderful. Are you going to be able to join us on drive time and listen to us at 7 to 8?
I'll try. I'm up. I get up. Yeah, I'll be there.
Well, we're going to give you double doses starting the new year. I may be doing a little bit of traveling, and Nico will be on his own, but as we know, he does a great job no matter what. We're going to do some remote shows.
Thanks a lot much for calling us.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care, Larry.
In the chat room, it says, for such an exceptional, intelligent lady like Paige, I cannot believe I just heard her say women are smarter than men. They are both highly intelligent, women and men. Unfortunately, they are both as equally ignorant, and they have an intelligence of their own.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree with you. And, that was just an opening to the article, Confetti Wars.
I think the men and women have a nice balance together. I know my wife keeps me in the straight and narrow because of her reminding me of some of the nutty things that I might do. Then she reminds me of those things.
It's that yin-yang. It's that traditional Chinese medicine. And as we know, when I was referring to that, this was according to the study about the emotional intelligence, and women scored higher. But, there's on this particular study, and I didn't mean to infer that was just a blanket statement, but what I think we know is that we have powers that really are a little bit innate to our sexual nature. And I thought that was very interesting. But I think the neat thing about, relationships is a balancing, is that creating that energy by balancing each other out.
Yeah. Well, men and women, typically think different. They think along different lines. I know when I was single, you're a lot more out there. And when I'm married now, been married 20 years to Ellen, and it keeps me very, very balanced. And that just a reminder, not that she nags me, but just her being there and the way she carries on. Her perspective is so important to me, and that's what keeps me in the line that I am.
Yeah, so. Who's that? Someone said, we would have wars if women were in charge. Ooh.
I think it'd be the opposite. We have wars now. I think, the women really are much more intelligent as far as war is concerned and try to avoid it as much as possible.
I tend to believe that the female energy is a little more collaborative than competitive, just by nature, and that's no judgment there. I think naturally that's the case. I do believe, and we're going to run short here, but Nico and I were chatting during the break because that's what we do. We were, as we were saying, these traditional cultures, the Cherokees, the Iroquois, and so forth. The women were very involved in making major decisions for the organization, for their people. And when the settlers came over to this country. We had in Europe more of a paternal type of society, and we sort of enforced that on these people, and we kind of got to look at things and how do things look. And
of course, we took democracy from some of those tribes, like the Iroquois. Iroquois had a real handle on how they managed large groups of people. Remember, the Iroquois Nation was a large group that was involved in eastern Canada, eastern United States, in the north, and were a very peaceful race. And they had the woman making the final decision as far as those things were concerned, for sure.
Well, we have to make the decision that we have to close out the show now.
Number here is 877-927-6648. You can still give us a call. We'll be back for one more segment, and then it's the rest of the year. We're pretty much partying on, I think.
That's right. We got one more segment. Okay, You're right. Okay, we got one more segment. If you got a question, give us a call.
Yep. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Steve Rhodes as he teaches techniques on technical analysis using pattern recognition, celestial charting, Fibonacci, and other tools. The Trader's Edge, next on TFNN.
Hello, and everybody. I just want to make something. I'm getting some slack in the chat room.
Flack.
Some flack in the chat room. Please, Al, show the teleprompter. Someone thought I made a comment that women are smarter than men. I wasn't making a comment or opinion. I was reading a headline. And I said, hey, there's an article that says why women are smarter than men from LinkedIn.com, Dr. Travis Bradbury.
Yeah, and actually, when we were reading the article, we did state that it pretty much evens out, and there's certain aspects of these tests that showed men were better in one area, women were better in another area, and we were kind of leading to the fact that our indigenous bearers were usually headed by the woman to make final decisions, especially on things like war.
And I finished up saying that I really believe that actually the benefit and the beauty is the yin-yang balancing of both men and women. So I certainly wanted to make sure and clear that fact up. I was not stating my opinion at all. We were just reading a headline in the news that someone stated. So I hope that clears it up.
I was the one that really wanted to get this article out.
He keeps saying he's very disappointed in me. You don't need to be disappointed in me. We were just reading a headline.
Yeah.
As you probably saw on the teleprompter, that the headline, that was the title of the headline.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll go on with that.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up because my wife was working with a gal who, convinced her that let's give up sodas. So she gave up sodas and went to the diet sodas.
As
and
if
then,
that was,
and then Ellen said to her, the diet sodas are maybe worse than the regular sodas.
Right.
But, one of the largest studies of its kind recently examined the link between diet drinks and cardiovascular issues, such as heart attack and strokes in healthy post-menopausal women. And this is strictly about women. The research took place at the University of Iowa, and the findings were presented at the 63rd Annual College of Cardiology. 60,000 women participated in the study, and it found that women who consume 2 or more diet drinks a day are 30% more likely to experience cardiovascular event and 50% more likely to die from a related disease. Real important stuff here to realize that when we're talking about diet sodas or other sodas, we're talking about a highly processed food.
And let's clarify, again, we're not making these comments that women, we're reading you a study. This is information we're sharing from Newsfeed, that this is from a study.
Yeah.
And folks, you can go from, it's true that switching from, regular soda to diet soda does lower your refined sugar intake, and that's a good thing, okay? But we also know that these chemicals have never been proven very safe and effective, and again, it comes back to some business dealings that got many of these artificial sweeteners, such as Splenda and aspartame, approved, despite the fact that they that they just did not, prove to be safe for people to use. Have you ever been to that website? It's called The Truth About Splenda.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It kind of gives you an idea, and the aspartame causes serious health concerns. So, we have to agree that really there's not a great health. You can't really be drinking sodas of any type and expect to obtain your very best health. Do you agree with that?
I do.
That's my personal opinion. Now, the occasional soda, probably okay, but to have them as part of your diet, you really just probably are going to have a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it screws up your whole system.
And now we're finding that a large study of its kind, that was done at the American College of Cardiology, has found that this can create some real cardiovascular issues.
Well, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, sodas. I'm glad I was never really fond of sodas, and I took them once in a while when I was young, but never got the habit for it. Pretty much, I always drink water. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's wonderful.
Well, have a happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and enjoy the holidays. Hopefully, you're spending it with somebody you love. We certainly are, and we'll see you in the new year. And remember, Tuesday, Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. morning drive. We're on it.
And bless you and bless your family, and be safe. Have a good holiday.
Thanks.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.